Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. And this week I want to take you in to my annual planning template. Now the reason for that is because we've just started October. October for me and for most of my clients is the annual planning time. And this essentially means that we've got 8 weeks or 2 months in order to brainstorm ideas about what we would like to accomplish next year. Now, the reason why we do this is because a lot of what you want to do is going to be hidden away in your subconscious mind, and you really want to get that bubbling up into your conscious mind and out into a external source, i.e. the annual planning template. Now, to help kickstart you into doing this, there are a series of lists and questions to help you gather ideas from deep within your subconscious mind, because that's where a lot of your desires, that's where your imagination, everything else all bubbles up from. And it's, as I mentioned last week, a lot of this is coming from your experiences in life. When it comes to intersect with your imagination, that's where long-term goals come from. But it's also where your shorter-term goals come from too. So let's get started with this. In the annual planning template, right at the very top is ideas. This is basically your dumping ground. You will sort a lot of these out into various sections below, but to get you started, it's just ideas. Often we all have ideas about what we'd like to do. Now let me just give you a simple example. This year I wanted to run a full course marathon round about now, October. Unfortunately, because of the COVID pandemic here in Korea, and I think it's called now the fourth wave, that marathon that I was planning on doing has been cancelled. So I've postponed that goal until next year. Now, I'm pretty certain there won't be any more cancellations. And so my focus on my health and fitness is going to be to run a full course marathon next year. So that's already added to my ideas list. But there are all sorts of other things that you may want to add. It could be, I'd want to get a promotion. So just write that down in your ideas. We can distribute these ideas further down the list. So the first question you get asked on this list is, what would I like to change about myself? Now, there's always something that we want to change about yourself. It could be that this year you felt that you've been a little lacking in discipline. Or it could be this year you may have found that your sleeping patterns have been a complete mess. You've been going to bed too late and waking up too early in the morning. There's all sorts of things that you may want to change about yourself. It could be something more long-term, like you want to become more helpful in your community, or it could be that you want to be less abrasive with your co-workers and business partners. Whatever it is, there's usually something we want to change about ourselves, and remember, this is about yourself, perhaps yourself with your interaction with yourself or interaction with others. But have a good think about some of the places in your life that you think, yeah, I really would like to improve that side of myself. Become a little bit more disciplined is one of the more common ones. But there could be all sorts of things that you're looking at there. Just list them out. This stage of the year, October and November, we don't want to be setting anything in stone. We just want to allow our brains to just dump out ideas. Now, the second question is, what would I like to change about my lifestyle? Now, this could be that you're looking around your house and you think, you know what? We've had this same decoration for the last 10 years. I think it's time we're going to redecorate the house. Or it could be, our car is a little bit too old. I think we need to change our car next year. Or it could be something on, let's move house completely. There's always something, again, in our lifestyles that we want to change. I've given examples about, the clothes that we wear. These days, I was just looking the other day in my closet and I've got like 5 suits that I haven't worn for about 4 years. I was just thinking, right, do I really need to be worrying about dress shirts and ties and stuff like that when I very, very rarely need to wear that kind of clothing anymore? Who knows? Obviously, I need to keep a suit for special occasions, but There's something else that I may want to change about my lifestyle, and that's look at my whole wardrobe and decide I'm going to have a complete change in my style. But then that could be one change about yourself. You get to decide what goes on what list. The third question is, what would I like to change about the way I work? Now, the pandemic has given us a lot of possibilities. Some of you are working for companies who've decided that now we're going to work from home forever. Others have said we're going to move to a hybrid system, and yet others are going to have to go back to the office at some point. Some of you may already have done so. But during the pandemic, was there something you really liked about your new working arrangements? Do you want to incorporate some of that more long-term, more permanently in your life? Do you want to reorganize your home office if you're working from a home office? Do you need to look at your software and think, I need to upgrade my software to something a little bit more modern? So there's a lot of things that you could look about what we would like to change about the way you work. It may be you decide, I want to change my company, or I want to get a promotion. What do I need to do? And remember, right now is not about making concrete plans for next year. Right now is about getting ideas together. That's all you need to do, is just get ideas right now. The next question is, and this one I love, is what can I do to challenge myself? Now, one of the problems that we have as human beings is we like routine, we like comfort, and we get very comfortable very quickly in our environment. Now, one of the things that you need to do is to keep challenging yourself, because that's how we grow as individuals. We grow by challenging ourselves. We grow by pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. So this is the question that gets you to think about some of the things that you may have had when you were a teenager or younger, and you think, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. And go ahead and just get it written down. All sorts of things. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I had this ridiculous fear of doctors and any medical procedure. And in the last 3 years, I've had a hernia operation, I've had a colonoscopy, probably giving you too much information there, and endoscopy. I've had a lot of medical procedures, which 3 or 4 years ago, I was really, really scared about having. But I overcame that fear by adding it onto my list of things to challenge myself. Like, let's go to the hospital and get a full medical checkup. Let's get my hernia fixed. And that's how I challenged myself. Now I have no more fears of going to the hospital, of getting a medical procedure. But 3 years ago, I really was scared, to the point of it being a phobia. So this is one of the areas that you can use to overcome some of these fears that you may have, that you think, you know what, this just needs changing. And you can just go ahead and change it. The final one, or there's 2 more actually. The next one is goals. What goals would you like to have a go at achieving next year? Now again, remember, this is not a firm plan. This is just ideas that you're collecting together. So what goals do you want to have a go at next year? Now, some of these will be in that ideas section up at the top. That's okay. But what you want to do is transfer them down to the bottom. We're not creating a list that we're definitely going to do next year. And you may end up with like 5 or 6 goals here. But by the time you actually make your final plan for 2022, the idea is you probably only have 1 or 2, because others you'll think, no, I'm not going to do that this year, but you can save that for next year. And the final list is, what can you do from your bucket list? Now, most of us have a bucket list. Some of you may already have got it written out and it's written down in your notes. Others may just have ideas that they would love to have a go at some point in the future. Well, until you turn that into a plan, until you make an intention to make that happen, it's only ever going to be a wish. So what of those things on your bucket list can you turn into an idea of having a go at achieving next year? Who knows? This might start bubbling up some wonderful ideas and just put a smile on your face. Now, these questions and lists are about having fun right now. For the next 2 months, this is why I love this time of the year. I can just let my imagination go wild. And when I look back at my previous notes from previous years, I sometimes laugh at some of the things that I put on that list, things that I know I'm never going to do, but that isn't the point. The point is something in there is going to resonate with you. Something's going to say, you know what, I'm really going to have a go at doing that. And then you can turn that into an objective or a proper plan, but we don't do that until December. So I really want to get you started right now. For those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you know I know the importance of having long-term goals, and this is one of those areas where you can really let your imagination run wild because you're not committing to anything at this stage. All you're doing is brainstorming ideas and have a lot of fun with it. Don't take it too seriously, just have a lot of fun. You'll really enjoy it. This is the best thing to do with your notes app, whatever notes you're using, whether it's OneNote, Evernote, Notion, Apple Notes, whatever notes app you're using, just create this template in there and just over the next couple of months, have a lot of fun brainstorming. Well, thank you very much for watching this video, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. Now, I would just like to say, if you are ready to decide what you want out of your life the next 10, 20, 30 years, and you want to be able to take that and build it into your daily life, then I have a course that's going to help you do exactly that. The Time and Life Mastery 2021 edition will take you through the process of deciding what you want for your life, and then it will show you how to build that into your daily life using the time sector system. So I hope you join this course. It's an amazing course, and I know you will not be disappointed, and I would really like to see you there. I'm here to help you to develop the best life you possibly can through becoming better organized and more productive, and that is what this course will show you what to do. Please join me in that course. Full details are in the details below.